Hello and welcome to Fanshawe College's virtual open house. My name is Aisha Monar El Henawi and I work at the International Department at Fanshawe College. And I will be your host for today's session. Before we start, we have some housekeeping rules. All webcams and microphones will be turned off for this session. If you will have questions, you need to click on the question mark button and then type your question there. And at the end of the session, after we are finished with the presentation, we will start with answering the questions. We will try to answer all your questions until the end of the session, but if we will not be able to answer all your questions, you can email international@fanshawe.ca for questions after the presentation. And if you have other programs open in your computer, you need to close them because it may compromise your system. Please take time and then close other programs now. And then I'm gonna give the words to Chris for General Arts and Science program, and he will do his now presentation about the program. Thank you. Sit back and enjoy.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. I hope it's going well today. My name is Chris Monteith, and this is the virtual open house for the General Arts and Science program. I'm hoping to share some information about the program with you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. To start with, here's my email. So if you want to take a picture of it quickly, feel free to send me an email anytime. This is Bev Antone Caller. She's the academic advisor, and I'm the program coordinator for the General Arts and Science program. So you'll get to know both of us very well if you come into the program. So a little bit about myself. I went to high school in St. Thomas, Ontario. From there, I came into the General Arts and Science program after taking a couple of years off after high school. I did a 2-year diploma in the General Arts and Science program, and I used that to gain admissions into Western University, where I studied double majored in English and history, and then completed my master's in history. I was hired by Fanshawe College in 2008 as a professor, and I became the coordinator in May of 2016. So I've been doing it for quite a while here now. So that's just a little bit about myself and why I really believe in the program, because it helped me get my academic life back on track and be successful as I moved forward. So some of the most common questions I encounter about the General Arts and Science program is, why would I take the General Arts and Science program, and what job can I get after I graduate from the General Arts and Science program? Let me address the job question first. We're considered a foundational or pathway program, which means we assist students in finding out what they're passionate about, upgrading their credentials so that they can get into their career programs. So what that means is when you finish the General Arts and Science program, you can't necessarily go directly into a career or a job, but we help prepare you for your career program so that you can go into a career after that. The questions about why would I go to General Arts and Science, there are a number of reasons. The first one is to help, like I said, transition into a college career program. Say you're looking to become a nurse, or you're looking to go into supply chain management, and you need math or science credentials. And the math you have from your high school isn't high enough to meet those admission requirements. You can come to the General Arts and Science program for a year, clean up or upgrade those grades, and then apply for your career programs. And that's why we're a foundation or a pathway. One of the other things we do is we help students transition to university. So again, if students aren't sure if they're prepared for university, or they don't have the necessary credentials to get into university, they can come to the General Arts and Science program for a year or 2 years, and then transition or transfer directly over to the university. On top of that, we get a lot of students saying, I'm just not sure what I'm passionate about. I've got a son in grade 9, and they're constantly asking him, what do you want to do when you graduate from high school? And he says to me, Dad, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I want to do yet. Our program really helps students figure out what it is they're passionate about. We have a number of different courses, which I'll show you in a moment, and you can see that they touch on a bunch of different disciplines. So we help you find out what you really want to do moving forward. Again, I've talked about this a couple of times, but the upgrading opportunities. If you don't have the admission requirements for those next programs, the number of courses we offer typically helps students get the credentials they need to move into their next program. So again, two of the big reasons why students decide to do a year of post-secondary school. In Canada, we have the option to go back and do an additional year of high school. I constantly urge students to come to Fanshawe and the General Arts and Science program first. And the reason for that is because we help you upgrade, we help you figure out what you want to do. And on top of that, we help you learn about the rigors and the challenges of learning at a post-secondary level. It is very different than what you encounter maybe in high school. So getting familiar with the process, with making sure you go to class on time, making sure you submit assignments on time, how you correspond with your professors and your peers. These are all skills that we help teach students so that when they get into their career programs or university, there's no concerns or issues with that sort of aspect. So again, like I said, we can set up that post-secondary academic record. You can earn a certificate, you can earn a diploma through the General Arts and Science program. It helps build up your CV and prepare you for your next program. Again, if you're someone who's looking to upgrade your math or your science, your English credits, we can do all that through our program as well. Okay. A lot of our courses also transfer into your next career program so that when you get into that program, the workload is a little bit lighter because you've taken some of the mandatory courses already in General Arts and Science. We also offer university courses through our program so that if you're thinking about transferring to a university after you're done, you understand the workload that's required at the university level. College and university are very different, similar to high school to college. So getting the opportunity to take some university courses at the college level and prepare for when you get to university is just such an important step. On top of that, we offer a number of flexible learning opportunities. We offer weekend classes, we have online classes, we have in-class classes, okay? So it gives you a number of choices to learn the way that works best for you. Finally, we have a lot of elective choice in terms of our courses. So, international students who go through the General Arts and Science program are roughly 20% more successful than students who don't go through the General Arts and Science program when they get into their next career program. And the reason for that is because we help strengthen your writing, your speaking skills in English. We help reinforce what is expected at a post-secondary level so that when students move into those next programs, they are already set up for success. Okay. We help students get used to learning at a post-secondary level in Canada, and we prepare them for that long-term success in their career programs. This is an example of one of the timetables for one of our students from last year. So you can see she wasn't quite sure what she wanted to do when she first came into our program. So she took a number of different courses across a number of different disciplines. So you can see she's taken a history course here, an abnormal psychology course, an English course, a social science course, and the reason and writing course. And I boxed these in a green box for a reason. These are the only mandatory courses in the General Arts and Science program. The reason and writing course in semester 1 and the communications course in semester 2. When you take these two courses, it gives you the equivalent of a 12U English or an advanced English credit, which is required in a number of programs and universities in Canada. After her first semester, she realized that she wanted to go into HR, the HR program. So that's why we see that she started taking an introduction to business course and a math course, as well as some courses of interest as well, okay? But this is the same thing we see all the time with our students. They come in first semester, not sure what they really want to do. Over their first semester, they find out what they're passionate about, and then they start shaping their courses in their second semester to help them get into their next program. For students looking to go into a science program, a kinesiology, engineering, if they're looking for nursing or paramedics, the structure for what they're taking is a little bit different. Typically, they'll take the 12U biology classes, the 12U chemistry, the 12U maths, and then a couple of electives. And you can see, once again, the English courses, okay, the reason and writing and the communications. So there's not quite as much elective choice here, but again, they're taking our program to help upgrade these courses so that they can get into their next program. Engineering, kinesiology, health programs, these are all high demand programs. Oftentimes our grades from high school aren't high enough to gain admission in there. So if you come to general arts and science for a year, do really well in these classes, you can then go into those programs. So we have a number of articulation agreements with a number of schools in Ontario. Western is obviously one of the larger ones, but they recognize all of our 12U science and English and math courses for their admission purposes, okay? And you can see there's a number of schools here. There's some that aren't listed as well. Lakehead's another example of a school in Ontario that we have an articulation agreement with. You can see across the top here, engineering, food and nutrition, nursing, kinesiology. We send a number of students to Western for these particular programs. So if you're interested in going into those fields and you're concerned that you don't have the admission requirements, a year in the general arts and science program can help with that. These are an example of some of the courses that we're offering. What I've done here is I've given a link, if you want to take a picture of this, I've given a link to where you can find all our courses that we're offering for the winter semester. We offer roughly 130 courses every semester in which students select 5, okay? So when I talked about giving a lot of elective choice, that's what I meant. We give students a ton of opportunity to pick courses that they think they might be interested in to help them figure out where they want to go next. So I would urge you to take a look at that link if you get a chance, see what kind of courses we're offering this semester. There's a lot more than what's seen here. I just wanted to give you a taste for what we're offering, okay? So in terms of the reason and writing course, this is an essay writing course. So you'll go over how to respond to an argument put forward to you. How do you write a thesis statement? How do you structure paragraphs? How do you carefully proofread for your grammar and your spelling? That's your first semester course. In your second semester, you'll take a professional writing course. This works on presentation skills, research reports, letters, emails, okay? These two courses together, like I said, give you that advanced English credit or the 12U English credit. For students who are looking to do the one-year certificate, they'll take these two courses, the RIT and the communications, plus 8 elective courses. For students looking to do the 2-year diploma, they'll once again do these 2 courses and 18 elective courses, okay? And again, we sit down with students, Bev and myself, and talk about what do you want to do moving forward? What are the best courses to help you get to that end point, okay? These are just some of the many programs we send our students to, and I'll give you another slide in a moment here that really outlines the top 8 programs we send students to. But again, a lot of business programs, a lot of healthcare programs. We send students to degree level programs. So we do really help our students get into where they want to go. There we go. Sorry about that. So again, I was talking about our articulation agreement with Western. The agreement we have with them is we offer 7 university level courses, and they go from September to April. If you're taking the 1-year certificate and you take 2 of those university level courses, those 2 courses transfer directly over to Western with you, which means you have 2 courses already ahead, right, when you get to Western. If you do the 2-year diploma, you can take 5 of those courses and transfer directly into your 2nd year at Western, King's, Huron, or Brusha. Right? Now, these are primarily for humanities, social sciences, history programs. The science programs, you might be able to transfer over 1 or 2 of these courses, but you would not be able to go directly into your 2nd year. Let me know if you have any questions about that. So again, these are some of the university level courses that we're offering. We have a history of Western art, sociology, philosophy and English, psychology, indigenous studies, and gender studies or women's studies. And again, these are all direct transfer credits to Western. We have a similar agreement with Lakehead University, where if you do the 2-year diploma and take 5 of those university courses, you can go into your 3rd year at Lakehead. We also offer a number of courses from Design Foundations, Pre-Media, and Fine Art. And this is all about getting students a head start when they get into their next programs. Now, the Reason and Writing course and your Communications course typically can transfer over to your next career program as well, so you don't have to retake those courses again when you're in those programs. Additionally, a lot of our courses count as the general elective requirements in those career programs. So you could be anywhere from 2 to 4 courses ahead when you go into your next program. These are some of the more popular programs that we send our students into. You can see, as of right now, collaborative nursing and practical nursing tend to be one of the more popular, or a couple of the more popular programs we're sending students into. And again, these are only the top 6 or 8 programs. This is a long list of programs that we send students into. Okay? But this gives you a good idea of where our students are kind of going. Again, the social worker and the personal support worker are 2 of the big ones. Starting in fall 2021, we'll be incorporating what's called the Signature Innovative Learning Experience. This is where students get to do something unique in their classes, oftentimes associated with a field trip. You can see the image down below. This was our anatomy class. They went to Western to look at cadavers and just investigate what it's like when you get to university in the anatomy program. We've got a global drug trade elective course where we go and visit the police station, or hoping to go and visit police stations. So these are the sort of innovative experiences we're hoping to introduce students to starting in the fall. Again, Bev and I are very much the face of the program. We have a 24-hour response time. We've got a number of different avenues for students to reach us at. We are here to help you be successful in your next program, or in your program, so that you can get to where you want to be. All right. On top of your classes, we offer a number of opportunities that they're not mandatory. They're just, if you'd like to do them, you can. But we offer a number of academic workshops throughout the semester to help students improve their writing skills, their testing skills. We also have volunteer opportunities throughout the semester. Bev and I hold a couple of touching base sessions where we just bring students in and say, how's the semester going? Do you have any concerns? Is everything going well? And again, this is all about just making sure that we're helping students be successful in their program. Now, we do have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. If you're interested, I think it'd be a great thing to join the Facebook page so you can get a feel for the different opportunities that we're offering our students. You can get a feel for how our students are communicating with each other. They create a lot of study groups with each other, and they're working together on their projects, on their work. So if you'd like to take a look, please don't hesitate to join the Facebook group. I'll put the link on the next slide. You can see it right there. And you can join at any point in time, and I'll accept you, and you can navigate around and see what we're doing throughout the school year. Okay? These are some pictures of our students over the last couple of years during our orientation events. Again, we also have some volunteer opportunities like I was talking about. It's great to focus on your studies. It's also good to get engaged in the community. These aren't required. They're just good opportunities for you to get out, get to know London, and give back to the community a little bit. So last year, as you can see, we went and we did some baking for the Ronald McDonald House. We helped work in a food bank. We plan on doing some tree planting this fall. Unfortunately, global situation prevented us from getting out and doing a lot of volunteer opportunities this year, but we're hoping come fall 2021, we're returning to some form of normalcy in Canada so that we can go out and engage in these opportunities again. In one of our more popular magazines in Canada, Maclean's, they evaluate the different colleges, and I was happy to see that this year General Arts and Science was listed as one of the more popular programs at our college. That's just an opportunity for me to brag a bit about the college or the program. And that's really what I had to present to you about the program. Here's my email again. If you didn't get a chance to take it down in the first slide, please take a picture of it now and feel free to send me any questions you have. I'm always happy to set up a Zoom meeting and chat more about the program. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, my microphone was off. Thank you. Thank you for the great presentation. You can start asking your questions, and as I mentioned before, you just need to click on the question mark button and then type your questions. And I will try to read them all, and then Chris will try to answer them. So let's start with our questions. Do I have to complete the 2-year diploma to transfer to university, or can I transfer to 1-year certificate in general arts and science?
That's an excellent question. So as I was talking about in the presentation, you do have the opportunity to transfer right after you finish the 1-year certificate. Now, it depends on the grades you have, but you are not required to do the 2-year diploma in order to take advantage of that transfer over to Western or another university.
Mm-hmm. And is there an opportunity to transfer to other universities than you have listed during your presentation?
Most definitely. Actually, you can transfer to almost any university in Ontario. We would just need to reach out to them and make sure that they're willing to accept our transfer. We haven't had any issues with that in the past. We've sent students out to BC or out to Newfoundland, and we've had those transfers as well. It just requires that we reach out together and make sure that those transfer credits are accepted. But yeah, most definitely.
Perfect. Thank you. With so many courses being offered, you have mentioned we're offering 130 courses in total. Is there someone to help with course registration and to make suggestions for the best courses for my pathway?
Most definitely. When you open the link and you see the 130 courses, it can be a little bit daunting to look at, okay? So most definitely, Bev and I sit down with almost every student in the program and talk to them about what they want to do moving forward and the best courses to take. So there are people there to help. Don't worry about that for sure.
So for example, a student wants to go into kinesiology and you sit with them and then you decide on the courses, like mostly science courses, and then the student will be able to transfer, not transfer, but like apply to kinesiology degree program later.
Exactly. So what we'll do is we'll sit down, we'll pull up the admission requirements for that program. We'll say, okay, we need these 6 specific courses. We start enrolling students in those courses and helping them achieve those credentials for admission purposes. Most definitely. Excellent question.
What grades do I need to achieve the successfully complete the general arts and science program?
So in order to pass a single course, you need a 50% or higher. In order to graduate from the program, you need an overall across your 10 courses of 60%. Okay. So if you get a 50% in one course, but you get a 70% in another one, there's your 60%, right? So overall is 60 for each individual course of 50.
And what are the university requirements in terms of GPA?
It's an excellent question. It really does depend on the program. For something like engineering, we've seen 90% is kind of the overall GPA. For something like history or social sciences, it typically hovers around 73 to 77. So it really does depend on the program. I think if you have a question about specific admission requirements, please don't hesitate to email me. I'll happily look them up and give you more feedback on what you would need to do in general arts and science in order to gain admission.
Thank you. How many courses do students have to take to complete the certificate and the diploma?
So for the certificate, you need 10 courses, the reason and writing and the communication, and then 8 electives. For the diploma, you need that reason and writing course again, and then 18 electives, so 20 courses. So 2 for the 1, 20 for this 2-year.
And the reason and writing is only in the first year, right? In the first and second. In the second year, it can be all electives according to their choice.
Exactly. Yep.
How can the general arts and science program help prepare me for further study at the college or university level?
It's a good question. And again, I talked a bit about it in the presentation. Part of the struggle that students have when they come to university or college is time management, self-scheduling, learning how to hand things in on time. I know that sounds easy, but oftentimes that's something students struggle with. So when you come to general arts and science, we help work through a lot of those kinks, as I like to call it, or trouble issues that can trip you up if you're not careful. So we help you learn how to do learning at a post-secondary level so that when you get into your career program or you get to university, you don't have to worry about those things. You can just focus on your education and get moving from there. So that's really what we help students figure out. Learn at this level.
Yes, I mean, as I work for the international department, I also have a lot of experience with fresh high school graduates from different countries, and as you said, they're really having a hard time when they directly go to a university program, because they're in the first year, they're in a class with 100 or maybe 200 people, trying to follow what the professor is talking about, and unfortunately, most of the time they fail, and then they come to our program to learn how to adapt to the higher education.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my first year history class at Western had 250 students in it. So I never actually got to talk one-on-one with my professor. One of the great things about general arts and sciences, our classes are 30 to 40 students. So you get that nice one-on-one connection with the professor, if you're willing to advocate for yourself, to talk to the professor. So I think that's a great point.
Yes. With so many courses to take, how difficult is it to connect with other students in the program?
It can be challenging, right? Because you may only have one course with a friend of yours and never see them again because there's so many courses. That's one of the reasons why we set up these touching base sessions, why we have the social media, why we have these volunteer opportunities. So you can get to know each other and build a larger culture or community together among each other. So that's why we've introduced those. We find students make a lot of their friends through these volunteer opportunities or just joining study groups through our Facebook page. So that's why I urge students to try and jump on the Facebook page if you can, just to see how the students are interacting and what they're talking about when they connect with each other.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Do I have to take a math or science course in the general arts and science program?
It's an excellent question. Because of the title, general arts and science, students always say, oh, I don't want to do science classes. I don't want to do math class. I get that. It's just the title of the program. You do not have to take an art class. You don't have to take a science class unless it's what you need to get into your next program, okay? So I understand the question, but no, you don't have to take a math or a science unless you need it for what you're looking to do moving forward.
Yes, they can choose among the 130 courses.
Exactly.
Depending on their future goals. Is there a break semester in general arts and science program?
We are a 3-semester program, so no, there would be no break. So we have a January to April, a May to August, and a September to December. So if you start in January, you would go right through till August if you're doing the 1-year certificate. Okay, so there is no break with our program. I know some don't have a summer semester, but we want to be open and try and help as many students as possible. So we have 3 semesters to try and help them finish up what they need to before school starts in September.
Yes. So if a student starts with our January intake, they will also study in the summer.
That's right.
Or a student can start in May and then continue until next year, April.
You're right. Yep, exactly.
Perfect. So we have a question about international studies and having a passport. I'm just going to quickly answer that.
Sure, please.
We're international students and we are wanting passports. What are the steps for study with you? So first of all, you need a passport in order to travel. But to come to Canada, you need a study permit and a visa. So first step is to get your passport and then apply for a program at Fanshawe College. And then with your acceptance letter to apply for your study permits and visa to come to Canada. If you want more information about that, I will write down the email address that you can contact to get more information. I think we have answered all the questions, and this is the end of our session. Thank you so much, Chris. Thanks a
Of
lot.
course. Yeah,
I
thank you
also
so much for coming today.
learned a lot today, and
Good.
have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.